Welcome to working with Photoshop and helpful tutorials. So what do I mean by that? If you're quite experienced with Photoshop, you've been doing all these things in the past, that's great. But there may be quite a few tools that give you a little bit of an extra boost. And a good way to learn them and have some fun, or even if you're a new artist, to get you started in the first place, is utilize some of the cool new tutorials in Photoshop. So let me show you. If I just come over here, I might click on the Move tool, I might click on the selection tool. See what I'm getting here? In fact, sometimes you look at these and think, oh, I don't want those, these are getting in the way. But they're actually really, really helpful. So let me see, I'm going to come over to something like this one here, and I want to go to the Art History brush, just for example, and I'm going to go Learn More. So within that, we get this little tutorial or palette that comes up. And let's see, what I want to do here is I want to do something a little bit crazy with my background palette. Now we can use our own files if we want to, but using these files that are in there, it helps you get things started a bit easier. So I'm just going to click on Create a Colorful Background using the Art History brush. So that sounds pretty cool, but as you see, there'll be a whole lot more, and you can even search for a whole lot more. So let's just click on this one, and we're going to go through this process. And here it is. Let's get started. So I'm just going to click on that to begin with, and here we are, just opening up the Photoshop. So the first thing it's saying here is, in many photos, the select subject command can be used. Select subject command, what is that? Well, if you look up here, there is a select subject command, and it's actually using a bit of AI to help me find that. So if I just come up here, and if I come down here, and all I have to do is look for subject, and there it is. And it's going through looking for the subject, and look at that, it's actually made a mask here. So from this one, I want to now go, here it is, layer, and let's see, layer, new, layer via copy. So layer, new, so we just come over here, layer via copy, and if you see over here now, we've got this in place here. Now just out of view over at the side here, it's actually asking, select the pixels, or select the pixels you have copied to a new layer. This will allow you to create a new background behind this layer. So the selected pixels have been copied. Okay, to create a new layer, this will get you going. Okay, so I'm just going to go next, and it's actually what it's asking for. And down here to do this, it's saying click this new layer icon just here, and voila, it's just loaded up here. So the next thing is, if I go next again, and let's see, what does that do? It's out of view here, but it says drag this down just between the two. So that's cool. And once it's dragged down here, I just go next, and this gives you availability here to go next. Click next button. Yep, so I'll do that. And oh, what's it's doing over here? Select the Art History brush. Okay, select the Art History brush tool. If you don't see the tool, right click the tool to see the icon, or hover over it. Okay, so select the Art History brush tool. So if I just click here, Art History brush tool, Art History brush tool. Okay, so that's the one that I want here. Okay, so that's great. Oh, and then it says choose a brush. So choose a brush from the brush settings. So up to window, and let's see, all the way down to brush settings. So if you see that, brush settings, and here it is, it's gone into the brush settings. If I move that out of the way, and actually the Art History brush setting, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's go through here and just create a brush that's going to be interesting for that. So I'll go next. Okay, and it says under the brush thumbnail, something like size 250. That's great. And we want a spacing of about 20. Well, it's actually in here at the moment, and spacing about 20. And let's see, what it's going to ask to do there is, get the right sort of brush. Okay, let's go next here. Okay, and okay, dab brush. Okay, so open the dab brush. So it is on dab already, so that's great. And next thing, this tool is ready to be selected. Now I can actually go and select any brush I want to do some crazy stuff here. So you can actually go a little bit beyond it, because it's asking you to create a nice interesting brush. So let's see, I might actually do that just to break the rules a little bit. So I've got this one here, and I can still play around with these to get it right. So it's just giving you a guide here, but you can be a little bit more experimental and playful with it as well. So if I just go next now, click next, oh, and yeah, okay, that's next again. And the artistry brush requires a splatter effect. Well, actually, I've already done that. So let's go through that and let's start beginning. So here we are the layers on the second one here. And if I start moving that, see, it's actually making this graphics in between the two there. And wow, that's starting to be cool. So I'm just going to go next so I get this out of the way and create and build the effect. Okay, next. And next. And I should be right on the money. We're just going through and doing that. Now, what I can use is come back to my brush settings at any stage. So if I click here, I can actually make this sort of bigger if I want as well, and I can drag that in there. Now there's no reason why you couldn't even go back and start changing the brush to something else and start doing something crazy with it as well beyond that. But I sort of kind of like that first one, and there we are. So I've got this really crazy background setting. I'll smooth that out of the way. And so there you go. These tutorials, and there's a whole bunch of them, so please use them. And then of course you can flatten it down, save it as a Photoshop file, do whatever you want with it, and of course just apply the same effect to your own images. So thank you so much for watching.